What's up, fuckers? Today I'm going to show you how to replace your valve cover gasket on a 2008 to 2010 Chevy Cobalt SS. This all started when I noticed an intermittent misfire on all cylinders and decided to change the spark plugs. I unscrewed the first plug and bam, it's dripping with oil, and I fucking panicked. So I looked it up and it seemed like it was a valve cover gasket. I'm no mechanic, I'm going to be straight honest, and this was my first time diving into an engine, but wasn't going to stop my dumb ass from figuring it out. Here's how I did it. You're going to want to remove or set aside the upper charge pipe for this one. Should be an 11mm socket. No clue why I don't remove it all the way here, but yeah, it's way easier if you do. Then, unplug the coil packs. Remove the bolts for the coil packs with the 10mm, and the spark plugs are going to need a 5/8 spark plug socket. Next is the top of the airbox. This is going to be a little different than the stock intake tube, but I don't think it's all that different, so start off by removing the crankcase ventilation hose. Yeah, they pull pretty hard, as you can see. Yeah, there you go. Now you finally move it. Yeah, there you go. Then, yeah, pull it out. Undo this clamp and pop off the latches on the side of the box, and you're good to just lift it off. Again, no fucking idea why I didn't do this before. Past me is a dumbass, but, you know, whatever, I'll just show you how to do it. 10mm deep socket and a lot of ratcheting. I don't know, there's probably an easier way to do this, but this is what I could figure out at the time. Fucking finally. Now, wiggle that shit out. Now, you don't want shit flying into your turbo when it's open like this, so just tape it off. You know, there you go. Next, unplug the cam actuator sensors. You don't need to remove them, just unplug them. Then unscrew the other end of the intake tube. Again, it's going to be a little different for stock, I think, but generally the same process. Now it's time to remove the intake tube. Best way I can figure out is actually to fist the fucker and then shake it back and forth, and it just kind of wiggles off. Use an AC line disconnector tool to remove the other end of the crankcase ventilation hose. These things are around 10 bucks, and trust me, you're gonna need them. You can't remove it otherwise. Alright, time to get this bolt out of the PCV hose. This is where it starts getting a little difficult. 3/8 size ratchet, extension, 10mm socket, and swivel attachment thing. That's how we're gonna want to do this. Okay, so get that bitch on there and unscrew it, but not all the way. I made this mistake, drop the bolt into the engine bay, and it has never come back. When you get it loose enough, just do the rest by hand and make sure you got a good grip on it. Or else it's, again, gonna fall into the engine bay. See, not too much of a pain. But oh boy, we're just getting started. Fuck. The real bitch is getting this PCV hose out of the turbo. So first you're going to want to cream pie that bitch with WD-40 or some kind of lube. You're going to want to use 2 small flat-headed screwdrivers. Use the back end of one of them to try to shove it out of the turbo. Sorry for the shit camera angles, hopefully you get the idea. At the same time as you're doing that, use another screwdriver to try to pry it like this. I'd show you what they look like combined, but I mean, I only got 2 hands. Okay, you see it move? Again, both screwdrivers at the same time. One in the turbo and one outside of it, prying it off. So doing those both at the same time, it's like almost out here. And eventually you're going to be able to just pull it out. It takes a lot, but you can do it. Couldn't get a video of me pulling it out because I had to use both hands at the same time, but I hope they got the idea across. Next, get a long ass 10mm. I decided to use, I don't know what it's called, but one of these. But any 10mm ratchet will do. Alright, this bitch is almost ready to come off. Take off some of these plastic brackets holding the wires in, and you're pretty much good to go. I used a big ass flathead to kind of wedge it in between the valve cover and the rest of the head, so kind of cracking it open like a chest. and it just comes out. Honestly, I guess I forgot to record myself putting the gasket on, but that's pretty self-explanatory. But that said, if there's any part of the gasket that doesn't stick in the groove, use form a gasket under the rubber. Trust me, you're not going to want to do this twice. Speaking of, guess what you're doing first? But don't worry, there's an easy way to do this one too. All we got to do is just not drop that nut in the engine bay. Here's how I did it. Hold the fishing wire with one hand and the bolt with another as you screw it in. This way, if it falls, you can just kind of catch it instead of losing it into the abyss. Now the hose is going to be sticking out a little bit still, so you're going to need to lube that bitch up again. To get it in all the way, we're going to use a hammer and long flathead screwdriver like this. Tap it gently-ish, enough to push it in the hole, but not enough to bend the metal. Go in a circle around the entire fitting, not all in just one place. Now finish off that bolt with the ratchet contraption we made earlier. Now the reinstallation is basically just the reverse of everything that I put, so I put their video in reverse. Torque spec for the valve cover is 89 inch-pounds, by the way. Anyway, thanks for watching, lads. I hope I was able to get you out of a pickle if you looked this up in desperation. If you have a question, just shoot it in the comment section and I'll reply, even if it's like years later. And if you're new and you like car reviews or whatever, or Cobalt shit, I mean, you can subscribe or something. I don't fucking know.